Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Transitions Collective. I'm your host, Mary Clavier. This week, I'm speaking with Shunta Grant. Shunta is a former corporate lawyer who runs a product-based business and also teaches women how to be on the other side of busy. We're talking all things productivity, time, and the mindset behind it. Enjoy. Hi, Shunta. Thanks for joining us today.
Hi, thank you for having me.
I'm so excited to interview you and talk more about all of your expertise with productivity, product-based business, so many things.
Yes.
So if you could start by telling us a little bit about yourself and your businesses. I know that's a very general statement. We'll get into more detail.
Sure. Yes. Well, first, my name is Shunta Grant, and I am the creator and owner of Because of Zoe Designs, where we celebrate the joy of childhood through the hair bow. I'm also a business educator at shuntagrant.com, where I help women get on the other side of busy. That is truly my mission in business and in life. And I'm also the podcast host of the Business Life and Joy podcast, where we believe that both your business and your life can be filled with joy. So a lot of what I do is targeted toward women in both of my businesses, and really helping them in the business education sector, really getting on the other side of busy, kind of ditching overwhelm, stop treading water in your busy business, and actually live purposefully and intentionally, and taking control of our resource that has the least amount of resource in it, and that is our time.
Yes. Oh my goodness. I'm so many things. Okay. I love that because I think so many people, myself included, even just this morning, like so many people struggle with so many parts of being busy, and like not only that, but like the clutter in the mind almost, yeah. Right? Because it's absolutely. Like there's just so much noise in there. I was talking to a friend about it last night. So much noise, and it's like, how do you cut through it? So okay, we're going to get into a lot of that. Okay. So since you also have a product-based business, I want to start a little bit with that. And in that space, since you also have productivity, how do you incorporate productivity into your product-based business?
Well, I'm going to tell you the before and then the transformation. Yes. So I used to be what I call team too much. Because of Zoe Designs was started with one concept, and that was a hair bow. And over time, I allowed so many different things to creep into that business. At one point or time, we have sold not only hair bows, but leather headbands, knit headbands, t-shirts, loveys, blankets, suspenders, just so many things. And I realized that we were just really becoming team too much, and that I wanted to be known for one thing. And when I simplified and took us all the way back down to one product, my business grew like never before. I was only training seamstresses how to make one type of product. I was only focused on marketing and telling a story of one product. And that in itself was a huge thing that lifted my productivity, because now we've streamlined. And so today, what I teach other people is, the more you simplify in your business, the more money you're going to make, the more peace you're going to have, the more it's easier for you to tell the story of who you are, what you do. So that was one of the first things I did, and one of the best things I've done for Because of Zoe for our productivity is to really streamline what we offer, and then from there streamline all of our processes, whether how we launch, how we ship, how we package, how we communicate to stores, how we do everything on the front end and the back end is all streamlined. And for me, that has been very helpful, because I've gone from a 10-hour workday to right now work 3 days a week, some days an hour, if that, some days 3 days, because I have a newborn son who's home with me. So it's really important. And I'm getting just as much done in this very limited time. I'm getting more done than I did when I had a 10-hour workday in just one business. And so I always tell people, if you think that time is your issue, it's not. It's just not knowing how to make the most use out of the time that you have.
That's incredible. I'm thinking so many things about, okay. So so when you were deciding that and deciding to simplify, I feel like a lot of the time it's also maybe a mindset type of thing, of a struggle of letting go, right? Maybe of how you decide to let go. So is there anything that you can talk to in that space of like, well, did you struggle with letting go of things? And how do you advise people to kind of think through that part of the process?
Yeah, I could talk about mindset for 4 days straight. Mindset is so major. In fact, in my group coaching program, December is a mindset month, because it really mindset stop break can make or break you. It can keep you from moving, or it can make you go past your wildest dreams. And that's something I've learned very much so. I have friends who have 6, 7, 8-figure businesses, and the difference between them all, I always say, is their mindset. So for me, I thought about this. Okay, I am making all this stuff, and it was just getting to be too much every day. It's always something, and I'm talking about the blankets, I'm talking about this, I'm talking about, and it's like if someone said, "What does Because of Zoe do?" You don't really have one clear story to tell. And so for me, it was thinking, okay, what is this going to look like 5 years from now, 3 years from now, if I keep up on this trajectory, which means keep adding stuff to my company. So one thing I ask people to do in their minds, and I think is one of the most important lessons entrepreneurs can make, is to learn how to think long term. Stop making your decisions based on what feels and looks good today. Because doing something that's going to make you maybe have a quick win, like discounting all your stuff for Black Friday, which we do not do because of Zoe. We don't have Black Friday, Cyber Monday, small business. We don't do any sales 365 days a year.
Oh, okay. I don't do that either. And I was feeling bad about that.
No, because
I don't have time.
yeah, it's a short win, right?
Yeah.
But look at the long-term impact that's going to have on your brand and your company and your profits. So I always say, think long-term. And for me, having that thought of, okay, if I want to, one, have my hands out of the business, because now I don't make anything. In the beginning, I made every single hair bow. Now this is the first year, actually 2018 is the first year where I have not made a single hair bow the entire year.
Congratulations.
I had to pull myself out of the business. And if you really want to grow a business and not a hobby, if you want a hobby, these things aren't really for you. But if you want to grow a business, perhaps, and particularly, I mean, a profitable business, then you have to take yourself out of the things that you can train someone else to do, so that you can do the things that no one else can do in your business, because those are the things that really bring in the money. And so that's what I had to learn how to do. And it's having that mindset made it very easy to let go of the things that I didn't want to be known as a blanket company. I didn't want to be known as a suspenders company. I wanted people to make Because of Zoe synonymous with hair bows. When you hear Because of Zoe, or when you hear someone say hair bows, you want to tell them about Because of Zoe. And I couldn't do that if our messaging was so cluttered, if we were just speaking out of so many different sides of our mouth. So now there's one clear story, one clear product, and it's been great ever since I made that decision.
So did you already have like employees and help when you were making all the different things?
Yeah, so I had someone who solely did our blankets, solely did our loveys. I had started to grow seamstresses, but I was still making at the same time. And then when I realized, I have to pull myself out of this completely, that was after we made the transition just to bows, because that was going to be a lot easier to just train people how to make one product. Right. We have 3 styles of those products, but it's so much easier than trying to train someone to do this over here and train someone how to do that over here. And doing that allowed me to pull out of the business, which then allowed me to grow my second business, which has grown even faster. And I couldn't have done any of those things if I was still doing the day-to-day. The mindset is, here's a mindset. And I heard someone say this in a group yesterday on a group call, that they felt like the only way to make money was to always be doing something, to always, like, in order to make money, I have to be doing. And here's what I've learned, because this week alone, I have made more than I made all of last month in this 1 week. And this week I've worked 1 hour. Yesterday I worked 1 hour. Tuesday I was gone all day. Mondays I don't work. I did take a call with my coaching program. That's it. Yeah. And so that's not true. You don't have to always be doing to make money. You just have to know how to put a system in place, so that your businesses can make money for you. And it's very much so possible, but it's a mindset. I didn't always have that mindset. I did used to think, in order to make money, I have to be doing something. Or in order to make more money, you make more stuff. It's not true. Yeah. You make one thing really good and you find more people for that one thing.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I think, and part of that is also probably because I hear people sometimes, and I run a mom entrepreneurs group in town, and we talk a lot about the balancing with moms and businesses and all those things. And sometimes it's also the letting go factor too, right? Like just giving up something that you do, even if maybe, I recently got a virtual assistant like a couple months ago. And that's been even a game changer for me. But just the idea of having someone else like take over some of your things, but really you can't do it all and grow to the next
Yeah, and you
growth
can't go all
mindset.
and do it well. And here's the thing: I heard someone say, if you want everything done your way, you're going to end up having to do it yourself, and you can't do everything, right?
Right.
And the second thing with that is let someone come in who can do what you're doing better than you. And then also another mindset thing is if you spend your day doing $15 an hour, $10 an hour, $20 an hour tasks, that's all you're going to make, right? But I want to spend my day doing $1,000 an hour,
Yeah.
$5,000 an hour
Yeah.
tasks, because that's the kind of, so if you keep checking your email, doing these little simple things, that's all you're going to be. You're just always going to be your own personal assistant. You're going to be your secretary. You're going to be all these other things, right? So I'm a firm believer in outsourcing when you can. I just hired a community director for our business to come into our Facebook groups, to really do a lot of the things that I was doing. And I was like, I don't need to be the one responding to every comment or setting up events in Facebook. Literally, someone else can do that. And
Right.
now that that's another thing off my plate, what I can do is go over here and do X, Y, and Z. That's going to make so much more money. That's going to allow me to employ more people. So you have to get out of this small mindset that you have to do all the things, because if you can't teach someone well how to do that thing, you're going to find yourself doing it all the time. And what I found is when you teach other people, they usually end up being better at it than you are.
Right.
So
Right. It makes
that's
a big
what I think
difference.
about that. Mm-hmm.
It makes a big difference. Let's talk a little bit about transitioning. So how you went from Because of Zoe to transitioning to talking more about productivity and getting into that space and creating the other side of busy.
Yeah, so it was very organic. I started Because of Zoe, or when I left the practice of law for Because of Zoe full time, I just started getting a lot of questions from a lot of business owners, asking a lot of the same questions. And so I found myself sending a lot of the same emails over and over again. And so I said, well, I'm going to start doing a recording. So I would go on Periscope, and start doing, videos, answering some basic questions. That moved over to a Facebook group. From Facebook group, moved to one-on-one calls. One-on-one calls, it started with me creating my signature course, which is my primary way of really helping women, called Peace-Based Progress. And from there, speaking engagements, kind of really becoming known for this. So it really kind of happened step by step by step. And over time, I realized the thing that I really love teaching and helping women, when I really sum it up, it is helping women get on the other side of busy. And that took a lot of trial of the one-on-one calls, doing the groups, figuring out what people really needed help with, they think it's one thing. They think it's that they need Instagram followers, but no, it's not that. They think it's because they need an email list. That's not what's keeping them from making money. They think it's so many different things, but I found that what people really needed was a true foundation, and that's what I teach in Peace-Based Progress. And so, yeah, it just happened very organically from meeting one need to another, and then really realizing what the people I wanted to work with, the true need they had, and then creating something for them to meet that need.
That's so interesting. So how long did that take that you were like finding out what worked for you or what you wanted to do? And
So I left the practice of law in September of 2015. I started doing like the Periscopes in 2016. By the end of 2016, I was being asked to come and teach other people's Facebook groups or course groups. 2017, at the end of 2017, is when I created Peace-Based Progress. And 2018 is when I actually branded under my name. And 2017, I started getting the speaking opportunities coming up. So it really took time. Like every year, I'd say a different thing happened. And so just this year, 2018, is where I've really honed in on what it is I want to be known for, what it is I enjoy teaching and am equipped to teach. And so now, like I said, I think it was March of 2018 that I branded under my name and really focused in on Peace-Based Progress. So from 2016 really to 2018, about 2 years. So again, it's not an overnight success. There was a lot of just doing a lot of stuff for free for a long time, because I enjoyed it. I enjoyed talking to other people about what I knew about business, what I learned, which is why I created the podcast, like sharing what I know to help someone skip some of the bumps and bruises that I had along the way. For me is not only, a gift, but I think it's what's required of us.
Yeah. Yeah. And really, I mean, then you were able to see what part of that you loved, that then you could really help people more and more, especially since like they were already coming to you because you were also projecting that out because you had been doing it, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And it helped me to realize I didn't love doing one-on-one. That's not really sustainable.
Yeah.
Booking people for 1 hour over and over and over again. That I had to do a lot of things I didn't like to
Yeah.
realize I didn't like it. But
Yeah.
what was great about that is it gave me a wealth of information. I got to hear consistently what people's problems were and how I
Right.
could help. So it took doing those, and I think a lot of people start out that way. It took doing that to get me to where I am today. So I'm grateful for every point in that journey because it helped me to really hone in on what it is I needed to be doing.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. So, okay. So then in terms of productivity, when you teach women about this, what are, and I'm always so curious because people have different perspectives, but what are your like top 3 to 5 tips around productivity, or the areas where you think that are most helpful for people?
I would say, gosh,
It's
it
maybe like a big question. I don't know.
it really depends on what aspect we're talking about, but I can tell you a few things that are just going to be helpful for someone. It's like, I need to get started. Where do I start?
Yeah.
Because one, recognizing it actually is really helpful. A lot of people think that they're okay doing things the way they are, but 99% of the people who are listening right now, there's a better way, and
Yeah.
probably 100% there's a better way. So realizing that your time is your most limited resource. I think one thing I would recommend is taking a look at what's distracting you during your day. Not only things like social media, email, but like emotionally and mentally. Are you allowing people to call you at any point and answer your phone and break up your workday? Are you setting boundaries? Setting boundaries, that would be a huge one.
Mm-hmm.
Are you setting boundaries on your time, whether it's boundaries on your time with your family, telling your client, letting your clients know they can't come in, and also setting boundaries when you're working with your people or you're working on your business.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you set those boundaries up and make other people respect them, you start to see a lot of your time gain back. So for me, one of the things is being really intentional with my time and setting boundaries in all aspects of my life. I think another thing is writing things down, because when you make a connection with writing things down, whether that's your to-do list the night before, then it's almost like making an agreement and a contract with yourself. It's so much different from writing it in, putting it in an app, typing it somewhere. I believe in handwriting everything down as far as like your goals, what you're going to do. And you need to have that done the night before. I don't think you should wake up and then say, what are we going to get done today? Because if you do that, you've already lost time and momentum. Every night, I know what I'm going to do, what time I'm going to get up, what's the first thing I'm going to do, where am I going to do it, my desk is ready for the day. You have to start. That's how you start strong. So that's the second thing I would say is start strong. And the way you do that is always plan the day before. And plan the week ahead, plan a week ahead. On Sunday night, you should know what you want to have done by Friday and what accomplishments, that week should bring about. I think that's really important. I think those would be 2 big ones: getting rid of distractions, boundaries, getting rid of distractions, recognizing them, writing things down, planning your week ahead of time, your days the night before, starting early, get up early. Wake up early and
It's a tough one for me.
it is tough. And before, I'll talk pre-life with a newborn, I was up every morning at 4:00. And that way, that first hour was whatever I wanted. It was no one else needed me. Everyone else in the house was asleep. So that meant I had time to journal, pray, go to the gym, whatever it is I needed that morning, I got to do that. Because if I took care of myself first, then at 7:00 or 6:00, when everybody else needs lunch, where's my sock? I can't find this. I've taken care of me. I've given myself what I needed to get started for the day. So I would say start small though, because I can tell you I've not always been a 4 a.m. riser. Actually, like in law school, like to stay up late and wake up late to get things done. But even you can get less sleep if you go to bed earlier and wake up earlier. You still will wake up more refreshed. And if you sleep later and get an 8-hour night, if you go to bed earlier and get 6 hours, you're going to be more refreshed than you would having 8 hours going to bed late.
Interesting.
It's so much better for you, for your brain. Do it consistently. But like I said, what I did was I used to wake up, I think around 6:30. So I just took 30 minutes. Okay, this week I'm going to wake up at 6. The next week I'm going to wake up at 5:30. The next week I'm going to wake up at 5. The next week I'm going to wake up at 4:30. I had to really do it in increments going back. So it's very difficult to do this cold turkey. So I would say pace yourself, but try to find a time where you can get up every morning and have time just for yourself. Because a lot of people are going to say, I don't have time. I will tell you, I don't That is 100%
You're not the person to say that to.
Yeah, don't say I don't have time. That is 100%
Yeah.
a lie always.
Yeah.
You do have time. You get to what you do with it, right?
Right.
You can say that's not a priority of mine right now.
That's what I tell myself. Yeah.
Right? That is true. So for me, I used to always say, I don't have time to go to the gym. I don't have time to read. And I realized, I'm not making the time to do those things.
Right.
If someone put a gun to your head and said, tomorrow you have to read, tomorrow you have to go to the gym, I bet you're going to find time to do that, right? It was like the doctor tells you need to go to the gym or you die tomorrow. We would prioritize it.
Right.
So I think that's another thing I would put out there is know your priorities. That's actually probably that as the first thing. You have to know your priorities for business and life, because if you don't, you're literally just treading water every day. Because you don't know what's the first thing you need to tackle, what's the most important thing, what's the second most important thing for your business and your life. And so I would say that for sure. And I have a podcast episode on all 5 of those things separately, because I think
look them up. Yeah.
So true. And I talk about priorities a lot because I think they are foundational. If you don't know your priorities, you are going to spend your entire life just blowing in the wind.
Yeah. So that's a big one for me. And I like to set, even now I was doing like 2019, goal planning and just what are my strategies for the year and everything like that. But I find sometimes, and this goes also with like the prep the night before and everything, I find sometimes like I'm going over and over the things too. There has to be a point where you stop and you make your decision and you move on type of thing. Right. So can you share what it looks like, say like, a Monday night, your preparation for then the next day, and then how you wake up, you write what do you do?
So I have a daily planning form, and I'll give you a link that they can download that for free. It's
awesome.
Free download one of my podcast episodes. But I just pull out my daily form. I was looking to pull out the one for today. And I literally just write what I'm going to do, and try to pull one out for you. But essentially it has at the top what time I'm going to wake up, my rise time. It has what I'm going to do for my mental and emotional health for the day. What am I going to do for my physical health for the day? By the end of the day, I have to fill that blank out. I'm trying to think what else is on there. And then my tasks. So I will write out. So I typically don't work on Fridays. We're talking on a Friday. So for today, it's 10:30, my call with you. And then, but on a typical day when I'm working, like yesterday, it had out Thursday's the day I take calls. So Thursday, it was different calls that I had listed out, and anything that I have to get done. And that's it. And so when the day starts, I know I'm going to start with this, anything that has a set time that's already built in. It's really not complicated. Here's the thing. Everyone wants to make you believe that running a business is very complicated. It's very difficult. No one can figure it out. That's not true. I think one of my gifts is showing people how simple it is. And making things so much simpler. So that's one of the things my clients consistently tell me, like, you make things that felt so overwhelming very simple. And again, my word for 2019, they're streamline and simplify. Every time I simplify my businesses, I make more money. Every time I streamline our processes, we make more money. And so that is my goal next year, to simplify and streamline things so much that it can't be streamlined down any further. And so just really, it's not that difficult. Write out the things you're going to do. Don't put too much on your plate. Look at your time. Your time may look different. Like I said, I only can work during naps. My son is asleep right now, so I can do this. If he were to wake up, I'd have to go get him, right? But for someone else, they may have 6 hours. They may have 8 hours. So look at what time you have. Write out what needs to be done, and all that should be going toward whatever that thing is you want to have done by Friday or Thursday, whatever your last day of the week is. So I know every week I have to get this much done. Like I know by next Friday I have to have my masterclass slides done for a masterclass that's launching in January, because I've set that deadline. I know that the Friday after that I have to have my graphics back reviewed for my graphic designer. And all of that is pushing me toward the big thing that I'm doing in January. So break down the big thing into little things and pace yourself along the way. And again, I teach that in a much more thorough way in Peace Pace Practice, because I know that's how you move forward. That's how you're able to do things without feeling that stress and overwhelm.
Just all the time trying to, because really your to-do list shouldn't be just your running list of all the things you have to do. They should have a slot in your calendar and in a certain day. And
they should all be telling a story of how you're moving toward whatever that bigger picture is.
I love that. Okay. This is awesome. I needed a good reminder and refresh. And yeah, because it's, so the other thing I hear some people struggle with,
Mhm.
and that we talk about sometimes, is around how do I say, like, how do you decide which things are like the most critical things to do, right? Like if you, for me, it's, for example, it's always easier to tell someone else how to, like, it's easier to go in and kind of do an assessment for someone else, right? And say like, okay, well, that looks like you're spending a lot of time there, or you're wasting time over here, or that kind of thing. But when it's for yourself, it's like harder to look in the mirror, right? Do you have any suggestions or tips of how to kind of reflect back on what you're doing? Like how to criticize, I guess, your own to-do list or your own things that you're trying to.
Yeah, I have two things. They're two kind of different answers. The first is I think everybody needs to have someone who's looking in on their business who knows what they're talking about. I have that. I
Yeah.
have a very expensive business coach who helps me, but it's because she's at a level where I want to be, right?
Right.
And you only can get yourself so far. And typically one thing I have definitely learned is, the things that get you to the next level are usually not the opposite of the things that got you here. So you get to a place in your business where you can't grow any further with just what you know. So that's the first thing, is perhaps it's a time to have someone else come in, and you can do that by way of a course, by way of a mastermind, hiring a one-on-one coach, those type of things. Number two, what I do is you have to, again, go to those priorities. What's the most important thing for you to accomplish next in your business, right? And
Mm-hmm.
from there, what has to be done to get you to that place? Now, this can be something that's going to take place in a year, 3 months, 6 months, a week, whatever it is. If you know what the next priority is in your business, then what you can do is really kind of just reverse that. Okay, now what do I have to do to get us there? And that's what becomes the priority. That's what becomes the next thing to work on. For example, for 2019, it is really scaling Peace Pace Progress. And I used to do a launch. We're going to do something a little different next year. So everything I'm doing is focused on that, like creating the masterclass, working on the slides for the masterclass. So all the things I'm doing are projecting toward that. With Because of Zoe, we have our major goals for 2019. And then what I'm doing each day or each week is tailored to that goal. So rather than having like 15 different goals, have one and then work backwards. And then if you accomplish that one and there's still more time, do the next one. But so many people are trying to do too many things all at once, and nothing is as good as it can be. I see it every single day. You need to learn how to be okay with working toward one thing. It's okay.
Yeah.
Simplifying, streamlining, priorities. Those are three things you're going to always hear me say. And if you are crazy enough to believe me and actually try it, you'll see why it works.
Well, you're living proof of your own things. So, you know, so it works. Yeah. You practice what you preach and you're doing it, and it's working for you. So yeah. I'm always for, and it's part of the base of the Transitions Collective too, is like really going to experts for what their expertise is. And this is really in your space. So
yeah, I love talking about this.
Yeah. No, that's great. Okay. So a couple questions before we close out. You mentioned the workshop already, but can you tell us a little bit more about what you do with the workshop, in case people are interested in learning more and trying to tackle that in their 2019 goals?
Sure. So Peace Pace Progress is an online course. I say that because that's a term that people are familiar with, online course, but it's more than that. It is a life changer, game changer. It teaches you how to truly stop treading water in your business. It is my business growth system. All I did was, once I actually figured out how to stop being team too much and was able to grow 2 businesses in a 5-hour workday back then, and have a weekly podcast that has always come out on a Monday. We have never missed an episode in over a year.
That's incredible.
But it takes time to do all those things. So I took exactly what I did to get myself to that place, and I packaged it and taught it in a course. and it's called Peace, Pace, Progress. And it really is my business growth system, like what it took for me to grow my business, how to really change my mindset around what I was doing, how to actually, I teach you a method called cleaning house, how to actually keep your mind clear, because I have one rule: my ideas are not allowed to live in my head. If they're there, it's like trying to work every day with 15 people in the room shouting at you. You're never going to be as productive as you can. And so I really just packaged down this business growth system to help women to grow their businesses, to make more money, to have peace at the end of the day, to see how they can progress their business. And for me, one of the best things is when I hear people say, not only do they make money, I love hearing that, but what I love even more is when they say, my children noticed a difference in me. My husband said, wow, you don't seem as, cranky as much, or you're actually done at 5:00. You're joining us for dinner. You're not stressed. To me, those are the best receipts, because that's why I call it peace, pace, progress. There is a way to live this life, to love what you do, because if you don't, you're going to end up losing that joy you have with your business, right?
Yeah.
And your family's going to grow to resent it. Your children's going to grow to resent it. And I just didn't want that kind of life. And so I nipped it in the bud, and I just created this system, Peace, Pace, Progress, this framework to help people really grow. And the funny thing is, I've had people take the course and say that they could use that. They use it in their life too. I have had homeschool moms take it, because to them, homeschool is kind of like a business. And so it really is to help anyone who really is ready to get on the other side of busy and really figure out how to build a foundation and make decisions and break them down from day to day.
Yeah. And a lot of the viewers here for Transitions Collective, they're either building a business on the side, so they have a day job. A lot of them are also moms, or, they're busy going to grad school or other things. I mean, everyone always has a lot of things going on. But as you go, like, as the more you have, the more crunch you feel, the more critical it becomes that you have to do these things.
Yeah. And I can tell you again, that goes back to, I've had, again, if you work a 9 to 5, I did that too. And I say 9 to 5 very loosely, because
yeah. Especially as like a lawyer and everything, right?
Yeah. If you get there at 9, people are looking at you crazy. If you leave at 5, people are looking at you crazy.
Yeah.
But the thing about time is, there's a way to maximize it. There's a way to are you working on the right thing at the right time?
Right.
And that's what I have people who are in Peace, Pace, Progress who also are working, and they have been able to get more done in that 1 hour they have every night and that 1 hour they have every morning than they were before. So, and it's helped them get to a place where they can then leave that full-time job, or get more out of run their business on the side. So I want people to start looking at time differently. You could get more done with less. And I'm living proof of that, because like I said, I am now, this is very new to me, being an entrepreneur with a newborn at home, and we're keeping him home for, at least one more full year. My plan for 2019 is to hire someone on Thursdays, because that's when I take calls, from 8 to 3, and just to be here with him so that I can get work done before the calls and during the calls. But other than that, I work if he doesn't nap, I don't work. And if he naps, then I get it in, but I always make sure that everything gets done. And yet, and still, the Stripe and the PayPals are still coming in, because I figured out how to make it work. And that's what I want to teach other people, that it's possible to do that. It doesn't happen overnight. I don't see overnight results, because even overnight results, because they overnight also going away. But I'm a firm believer in slow down to speed up. But yeah, it's possible. And I just want people to know that. And that's kind of what my megaphone is. It is possible to live life on the other side of busy and still make money.
Yep. That's incredible. Yeah. Even for me, like, I don't have, last minute, don't have childcare today. And it's like, trying to like do things. But if I was set up a little bit better, so, and I think it's always, just always, running your business. It's all the feeling the pressure of all the things and all the other noise. So getting rid of that clutter and really going after things. I think that's key.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Awesome. Okay. Well, I have one closing question that I ask everybody. What skill from working in corporate have you found most valuable and most helpful as for being an entrepreneur?
That's a great question. I wish I would have thought of a great answer. I'm going to see. I'm thinking, let's see. Trying to think of the skills I had. I mean, coming from being an attorney, I think that involved a lot of writing, a lot of articulating, working with clients. Maybe the working with clients, that might be it. I feel like the two things I really loved about being a business litigator was showing up in court. I love arguing in person. I get to do that kind of field thing through speaking. And then the connections I had with my clients, like when I actually got to go to a client's and
Mhm.
do a training, do a teaching. I really loved that. And I'm grateful that I get to do that kind of thing now for a different type of client. And so I think for me, being able to take care and care for clients is something that I took that I definitely apply now. And it was something that I just really, really enjoyed, being able to help someone that you can actually see and go to their offices, see where they work and hear their problem and train them, how not to do this the wrong way or how to follow this law or how not to get sued, like teaching them those things and watching them learn and be appreciative of you helping them. I really loved it. Now I think I take that in a different twist now, working with different types of clients. Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah. Yeah. I like to get people's perspective because in some ways it's very different and in other ways it's similar,
Yeah.
with running your business and everything.
Absolutely. Yeah. Rather than working for million and billion dollar companies, I get to work for women who are building businesses to really change the trajectory of their life and their family's life.
Isn't it
And
amazing?
more. That means even more.
Yeah. I 1000% agree. Okay. So can you tell everybody where they can find you?
Sure. You can find me on Instagram. I'm at Shunta Grant. Shunta spelled a little uniquely. It's SHUNTAGRANT. I'm
Mhm.
also at shuntagrant.com. The podcast is Business Life and Joy, but you can find it at shuntagrant.com/podcast. But I like to connect with people primarily on Instagram at Shunta Grant. And we also have a free Facebook group called the Circle of Success, which you can apply to get inside of at shuntagrant.com/circle. Oh,
Great.
and I have something for your listeners. I almost forgot.
Oh,
I have a code for our Spring Forward workshop, which is just really a good place to get started. If you're like, how do I get started today with really maximizing my time? A great place to start is Spring Forward. And I have, you can go to springforwardworkshop.com and use the code transition, and it's going to give you a significant discount off. It's less than a cup of coffee for the week, at Starbucks.
awesome. Oh, I'm going to check that out. Thank you very much. Thank you for offering it to the viewers too. That's great. Shunta, thank you so much for your time today. You were like action packed, like so many tips. It was wonderful. I think a lot of people are going to walk away like with a lot of new ideas of how they can approach. And like you said, changing the mindset and how you look at time.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is, you can do it.
Yeah.
Anyone who's watched this and already said, yeah, but I can't do that but she doesn't know it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can do it. And until you admit that and accept that, you're not going to, but I want to let
Yeah.
you know you can. There's no unique situation. You have 50 children. It doesn't matter.
Right.
Make it work for your
Right.
life. It's just not going to look like everyone else's. And I think when people say I can't, they think I can't do it like her. And that's right. Because her is different from you, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Circumstances, resources, so many things are different, but you can do it for you. And I'd love to help you and teach you how. So connect with me and I'd be happy to help.
Yeah, that's great. Oh, thank you so much. This was wonderful.
You're welcome.
Thanks. Bye. Bye. Hey everyone, I hope you enjoyed that interview with Shunta. I thought she had so many great tips and actions around how to be productive and really, really be on the other side of busy. I thought the eye-opener was how you treat time and the mindset behind time. So setting those boundaries and staying focused on what you're doing, setting your schedule, those are all really important things that I definitely know I need to work on a little bit too, but I just really enjoyed everything about that. And I think going into 2019, it's a great way to stay focused on your goals. If you want to know more about Shunta, please visit her, shuntagrant.com. If you want to hear more about the Transitions Collective, we are launching a membership community in early 2019. So please check out the transitionscollective.com/community to sign up and be on our mailing list to get more information as the launch date approaches. We're going to be a platform for women entrepreneurs as they work through transitions from corporate and building their businesses, and we'll be providing resources and access to experts to help you through that. Thanks for watching, and I hope to speak to you soon. Bye.